Hey everybody, this is Brent from The Second Look. Tonight I'm chatting with Jay Smith. Jay, nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, like I was telling you, I've been intrigued by you and the things you're doing and the content you're making on TikTok. You're clearly a very considerate filmmaker, a very thoughtful, like this is not just a hobby or this is not just some random expression that I'm kind of dabbling in. You clearly take the job, the medium, and what you're trying to do very seriously. Yeah, I've been wanting to kind of talk to you about that and kind of get to the bottom of that because it's really interesting. And not that I think you're rare in that case. I feel like maybe not as many filmmakers have developed like a kind of like a what seems like kind of a personal philosophy that you have and are so articulate about it. So I want to
Thank you.
get to all that, but let's go back. Let's start at the beginning. Kind of where did this all start for you?
That question is so broad for me because it's like starts everywhere. The only reason why I say this is because like everywhere we've been, parts of us remains. And I feel like I started at first. I didn't even know I was going to do this. I thought that I was just going to be in front of the camera. My whole entire life, I came here knowing this is exactly what I want to do. I want to act. I used to grow
Mm,
up 2 years old, imitate my family members. I got myself on VHS tapes doing those things. Um, Constantly just being consistent in that, because my family was so sports driven. It's like, "Oh, play sports, play sports." And like,
mm,
it was like, "Yeah, you're not good at it." But they finally sat down with me and was like, "Okay, what do you actually wanna do?" And
mm,
so I told them this is exactly what I wanted to do. I said, "I wanna act." And so they put me in performing arts schools. They started putting me in, a lot of activities outside of school, a lot of professional things. And I say by the time I was 8, 9 years old, I had some of my first professional development headshots. I was doing it outside. And from there, the story just constantly continued on. And what happened was I eventually went to school for musical theater. I'm an actor, dancer, and singer. And so I went to Kennesaw. I'm originally, of course, from Atlanta, Georgia. And I was in the band. I was a drum major. So as far as within the transferable skills and the things that I knew, the adaptability and the agility, I was like, this is the same thing, same concepts. I just need to apply this framework to acting, all this good stuff. And once I got in school, unfortunately, COVID had hit because I graduated 2019 from high school. That following year, 2020, COVID pandemic hit and the world was at a standstill, it seemed. And with me, I'm not at a standstill. So while we were in quarantine, I started to come up with small micro shorts on my iPhone just to pass the
mm,
time.
mhm,
Next thing I know, people was like, "Man, these shots are amazing." And I was just like, "You think so?" And so I was like, "Okay." So I started putting them out there on Instagram. People was like, "Oh yeah, this is dope." And they were psychological horror, crime dramas, and thrillers because I was watching The Outsider at the time on HBO Max, and it got me. I was like, "Yeah, I got to create something like this." Yeah, it was a great show. I watched it the other day. So um, fast forward, things started becoming a little bit more lenient within the pandemic. Um, I wrote my first short. It's actually on YouTube. It's called The Deal. It's just a comedy. I
I
didn't
watched
think
it.
much of it. Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah.
Wow.
I
Wow.
know.
I didn't know people
Yeah.
were still gonna watch. Wow. Wow. That means a lot to me. Thank you. I
Yeah.
was not expecting that. Oh man. Yeah, it was for fun, but in the sense of I wanted to see if I actually was gonna do it. That was my first time like writing something and directing it. And being a person of color, I didn't want to necessarily do something that was so typical or cliche. I wanted to do something where it was just a light-hearted, something that was funny, something that was still, relatable in a sense, but not as harsh, hard. And so I wanted to be funny. And I wrote it, and everybody, my family especially, they loved it. I mean, I didn't even expect for it to get that many views. I released it on like the day after Christmas, and it got over like 1 point some K within like the next couple days and months, and I was like, "Wow." And based off that support, I knew that I had a story and I had a vision. And my
Yeah.
best friend, we went to elementary all the way to high school. His name was Ethan. He actually acted in it. He is actually my co-producer and he's my marketing strategist. So I know a lot of people probably may see me behind the, or so in front of the camera, but that's the man behind. Like when I was talking about, like, now you see me, the four horsemen, and then the eye that you never see, that's him. So yeah, like he saw how I gathered those people in those rooms, people older than us, people in their 30s and 40s, and just me just talking because I just had a vision. And he was like,
Mhm.
you're really good at what you do. And he said, I think we should do this. We should skip school to watch movies in our junior and senior year of high school,
Mm.
constantly just daydreaming at the screen as it watches us and as it reflects in our eyes and as we reflect in it. And we said it would be amazing if we could do something like this one day and
Yeah.
have it behold.
Yeah.
And constantly just kept doing it. And we was like, okay, at first we wanted to do the commercial route because we wanted to, have our own specs and fund our own films, and got in contact with some people from Pepsi and different, just people to um, have as far as coherence and what we do. And they was guiding us. There was our guide, and they were like, you're good at what you do, and we want to constantly stay in contact with you all. But what is actually what you want to do? You want to specialize in commercials, or you want to specialize in narrative filmmaking? Like, we want to tell movies for the rest of our lives, and we've been doing it. We've been focusing on those. And now we
Okay.
make micro to build our tonalities for Blue Jay as we get ready for our first feature film debut. And it is so exciting. This is an exciting time.
Wow. That's a great story. I love that. So, okay, so to be clear, you didn't go to film school. You just learned by doing.
Just learn by doing. YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I think it's important for people to hear that stuff because people, especially living, maybe they're not in a position to go to a film school or to go out of state or for whatever reason you might not film school not be that feasible, and they think, well, I guess that's it. I can't do it. But clearly, as you've shown us, like, there is a path, and it might require a lot of self-direction and motivation, which is important and almost necessary in that scenario. But if you want it, it's there, right?
Absolutely. Because I think that's what I realized. That just the older that I'm becoming, the more that I'm evolving, not just as a filmmaker, but as a just as a human, and understanding of what it's like just being human and going after what you want, is that you don't just attract what you want, you attract what you are. And this is what I am. And not only just what I am, it's as far as it's a part of me. And I think sometimes we can get lost in the what rather than the, why and the where. And therefore I'm finding that purpose in that. And it's such a beautiful thing to unfold. It is.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, you had a goal. You had a dream, like, as a high schooler ditching class
Yes.
to watch
Right.
movies, and it's actually happening. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you. We came up with that motto that thoughts become things.
Good. Yeah, that's
It's not
good.
always, but we always constantly say it because it does.
Sure.
Things are thoughts and thoughts are things. It's paradoxical.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I mean, that's the joy of creation, right? For artists of any stripe
Totally
in
agree.
any medium, taking something or building something out of nothing, putting it into the
Yes,
world. It's a beautiful thing, and yeah, when you do it, yeah, I found, like, you do it once and it works, and I kinda like what you sounds like that kind of happened to you, like, with those shorts, like, but then with that first, with
absolutely.
the deal, like, it works and it hits, and it's like, "Okay, now it's just let's just repeat that
Mhm.
over and
And just
over,
keep
let's just keep
it
doing
over
that."
again, but thus far as with a better proficiency, holding
Mhm,
ourselves, and that's
mhm.
really where the system comes down to. It's like we come down now to that's what I like. It doesn't matter how many people you have. It's about as far as the system. If you don't have any system in place, it doesn't matter. That's why I think pressure is a privilege. And the fact that you can act on that is anything. Anytime you have that pressure, you should act on it. There's people in here that don't have that same thing as me, and I'm sitting here not taking advantage of that? Nah, gots to. And my partner, Ethan, we hold each other to that standard. He holds me in that standard, I hold him in that regard, and therefore, that's why it constantly continues to get better and better.
Mm,
And I'm so thankful for that. I really am because, like, I think we live in a world now where it's nothing but aesthetics over ethics. People are just doing things because it feels good, but
mm,
not what feels true. And
mm,
that's what I to be in that medium where it feels true.
mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, right, especially now with
Man.
the AI tools available and the ability for artifice to take hold
Mhm.
in a really powerful way, like, we
For
need,
sure.
I guess, what you're describing, the truth more than ever.
But yeah,
Um, Curious about your collaboration with your friend Ethan, like, because collaboration is also a necessary ingredient if you wanna do this job.
totally agree.
Unless you're animating something by yourself in your room and you don't need anybody else, every other filmmaker creator needs to be able to work with people.
Totally agree.
What and it's great that you're friends, so you have that established kind of relationship already. But in some cases, people find working with friends completely, doesn't work
Well, yeah,
because you
I've had some
can't
run-ins.
you can't have those conversations, those tougher conversations where because you're friends and because you value the friendship over maybe the work, and if those two things come in conflict. So how do you guys kind of navigate that?
So I totally agree with that because I've had a few run-ins. That's why I use a lot of my philosophy, as you talked about, within the film system of ego. And of course, everybody has their own ego. We can't stop that. That's what keeps us living. That's what keeps us alive. We're so big on that. It's because I think that we live in a world where everything is promoting individualism rather than uniformity. And we have been so big on that because I think we come from the marching band world. And like, there is no individualism in the marching band world where we came from. It was nothing but we had each other. And collaboration is what made us stronger. But if you want to go alone, if you want to go faster, then you work alone for sure. That's what a lot of people are doing. That's why it takes so hard. That's why it takes longer and so much more of the challenges to get to these goals is because everybody thinks that they got it figured out. Well, it's what I want to do. It's what I want to do. It's never about we,
Mm,
but we can exist before I. And if I don't understand what I can contribute, because it's okay to contribute, but that's that's where it gets confused. Is it's
mm,
less about ego in this world and it's more about contribution. That's like I think that's the only way that we have been doing this now for like 5 years. It's because we've had friends. Everybody wants to be a director. Everybody want to write their own scripts. But what about
yeah.
specialty? Ain't nobody specializing. Like I sacrificed myself to as far as stop acting and say, nah, I'm going to produce and write my own stuff. That's a lot of sacrificing. Rather than saying, see, with actors, it's all about yourself. It's all about your perception and what you look like, how you should be perceived. And I don't have to do that. That's why a lot of people always constantly keep asking me, like, you ever see yourself acting again? You ever see? I'm like, I don't have to. Because as a director and producer, I have a chance to live so many lifetimes through all of my work.
Mm,
I think it's just about dropping that S off your chest, take that cape off your back, and just make that contribution and to just do what feels necessary at that time. But I think sometimes we can get so confused in what is necessary based on what we think rather than what's best for all.
right. Yeah, that's good. Right, because even when you're working on a project, right, you've got different department heads or whatever, like your DP, your editor. Those people are thinking individually, individualistically about their own work and how this project is going to help them get the next project, and so they have a kind of a selfish reason for doing a good job, but they
Yeah.
should also have that sense of I fit here. This is my spot. This is my I'm the part of this machine, and I need to do
Mhm.
this so that people can do that.
Right.
That's that part where yeah, people maybe aren't thinking as
And I totally agree. I think that's why the indie world is so different from like the standard industry. And I don't think a lot of us get this in the indie world. It's because we're trying to constantly be like them rather than us networking with the people to the side of us and
mm,
networking with the people who will sacrifice and say, we will do these things. We shoot almost every weekend. All these micro shorts have been shot on the weekend. I have sacrificed
mhm,
multiple. I don't think about it. It's because once again, it's about the end goal. But it's just so many people that's once again, it's their individualism. And to answer your question quite honestly, the way that we keep that truth going is because there's a quote that says, I forgot who quoted it, but they say, if the truth shall kill them, let them die. Let them die. And so
right,
with that truth, that's how we keep it going. It's because we're truthful with each other. We're honest. That wasn't good. It's extreme ownership because what happens to me is because of me. So if this film isn't what I wanted, it's because of it. I let the crew in. I wrote the script. I hired the actors. Who else we gonna blame? And so with that
mhm,
extreme ownership, yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't. It constantly keeps us accountable.
yeah,
It constantly keeps us
yeah,
accountable, and I'm thankful for it. It's just I just the more I just constantly keep doing this, I just realize like the people that think that they are the best aren't, and the people that think that they aren't are. Like it's such a paradox. It's because they're chasing after something that doesn't exist. They're putting themselves on a pedestal. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm not in competition with nobody. I'm not looking to exceed over nobody. This is not a race. This is a journey for me. This is a
right,
destination, and I'm enjoying
right.
every bit. And I think it matters. It does.
Yeah, and if it is going to be a journey, you're gonna need people around you to help you,
Absolutely.
and so you really want to try and find a whole new crew for every project and like
Mm,
start over, you're gonna have to build those relationships and you're gonna have to
yeah,
compromise like you're saying.
absolutely.
It's an investment that
Yes,
people maybe aren't thinking so long term, they're thinking short term.
yes. And that's what it is. It's the instant gratification. It's because of what we live in now. I mean, once
Mm,
again, it's just aesthetics over ethics. Everybody wants stuff now based off what they're seeing. And like because we're so used to living in a world where that's all we see now is the rewards. It's the end. No one ain't applauding you in the middle. Ain't nobody showing you in the middle. And that's what I'm doing. I'm showing people what the middle looks like. This is
yeah,
what the middle.
yeah,
I don't have anything, but I got everything. It's because I'm grateful. I think that's what it's teaching me that gratitude is when nothing feels like everything.
mm,
I don't have it, but I have it.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
the
that's
middle ground is like where you survive because ain't nobody applauding you. Ain't nobody telling you congratulations. They only say that at the beginning and the end. When you're going to do it and when you don't, because ain't nobody saying these things in the middle because they don't have it. So why would they?
mm,
You know, and I'm
mm,
not saying that this part in a condescending sense. It's in a sense of like you have to be your own as far as self motivation. You have to have that internal gratification system. I believe gratification has been weaponized. It's turned
mm,
into a it's been turned into a mechanism, a coping mechanism,
mm,
and we don't live in a. I think a lot things are not used to be built in an intrinsic motivation system. Things have now
mm,
become relative rather than understanding that you are nothing but the absolute. And so with that, it's just like I'm let's make films because films are us. We are films, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why it's so important. I think that's why art is one of the biggest concentrations of this medium that connects human beings is because of our experiences. We spend
yeah,
50% of our lives daydreaming every day. So why wouldn't we tell stories? I mean, so the very first man has his hand printed on a cave just to say I was here. That matters.
Mhm.
And so to be a part of something that's so much larger than that, it's immortalizing.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you. I'll be talking a lot.
No, you're throwing all these ideas at me, and I'm, like, trying to, like, really
I know, right?
wrap my it all makes sense, and it all feels
Thank you.
again, you've clearly thought about this, you've clearly, like, spent the time to really understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what it means. And I
Yes.
think that's clearly gonna come across in your work. It's gonna connect with people watching your work. It's not gonna be some superficial instant gratification experience that kind of message, I guess, is gonna be like baked in. And that's what we need. So
Absolutely. And that's yeah, I totally agree. Thank you. That's why I wanted to tap into the psychological genre. It's because
mm,
we are living in an existential dissonance where the soul is constantly reaching for harmony, but it hasn't found it yet. It's not
mm,
in a malice sense. It's in a sense of what is nature? What is failure but a but an attempt of your own nature of human being? You know what I'm saying? It's a projection. It's not a moral inconsistency. That's why we always constantly project. And I say those things too because we're unfolded narratives. We say things, we do another. That's what we do. And I think we live in a time more than ever as a collective consciousness to talk about what that is, not the ontological horror of the supernatural, but it's us. It's the shadow self. And I'm here to I want to dive deeper. It's just like Stanley Kubrick. Like all my films about to be like eyes wide shut. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm about to give it all to you. We need that.
no, no, it no, I see what you mean, and I totally
Yeah.
agree, and I think this goes back to what you're talking about the truth, about the world, about ourselves, and I think you have to you have to use the medium as your kind of vessel to get through to
Yeah.
that core, because having a conversation with someone, has it okay. It may or may not work. You kind of subvert it into a narrative that someone watches with that when they're not even realizing that's what's
Right.
happening or that's what you're saying. It
Absolutely.
has a lot more potential to really strike that chord with
That's
people.
yeah. That's it. Because I think it can all be so simple. It's not meant to be thought. It's meant to be felt.
Mm,
Some things you
yeah.
just gotta feel it. You gotta sit through it and understand it. That's why a lot of people can't understand deep things like such as sinners or weapons. If it's not thrown into them and they're like, I don't understand. It's like, maybe it's not supposed to be an understanding. Maybe that's what they want you to feel. It's because you have to understand that cinema is deeper than just telling stories. It is the observer. It is a witness to what we are. Film is witnessing us and sitting in that silence. It's not just stillness, it's presence. And to be a part of that presence is something it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a it's no words to describe it.
It's amazing, right, that you can sit in a dark room and just start watching a 2D image of people
Yes.
who are acting, who you realize that this thing was written, someone created this thing.
Hate it.
They hired actors to pretend to be those people, to say those things, and somehow our brain still can connect to it on a level so deep that it changes our lives, it makes us cry, makes us, like, rethink everything, like, so that machine, is pretty incredible.
Absolutely. The space in between, as I like.
Okay, well, what you just said back there about, like, films being felt more than understood necessarily, or tapping into, maybe like a not an intellectual, like a sub-intellectual, it's more of a kind of more visceral.
Yes.
I watched your other film, Midnight Blues,
Oh,
and
man.
I feel like that is exactly what you're just describing. More of an experience, less of a traditional narrative.
Mhm.
and you're using abstract imagery and to evoke something that isn't so immediately understood. So, tell me about that project and kind of how your goal with that one was.
Pretty much the same thing. I think what I use for a channel for that is, I'm a quote guy. Was I can't remember who said this, but the remedy to love is to love more. Using that as an expression that words can't even describe. It wasn't originally my project. It was my other co-producer who acted in it, Keith Elgin Douglas. It was his poem, and the way that I saw it, I saw it as a form of alchemy, of transmutation, and using that complexity to understand what that feels like internally. So I use like some type of occult esoteric feel with that. I start researching things about the chakra systems. And so I'm really deep on allegorical things and symbology. So if you look at in the beginning of the film, he wears red because that's the lowest chakra. And then at the end, you can see that he's wearing white. So it's
Mm,
literally the spy. So it's truly what you're experiencing is bliss at its
mm,
core.
mm.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
It's bliss. Yeah. And he's going
yeah,
through the stage, what it feels like, all of it, because that's what love feels like. One of those feelings where, because love is truly unconditional.
mm, mhm,
And intrinsically it is. No matter as
right,
far as the relativity, what we give it, love itself is. I mean, that's why everything is the way that it is, because it just
mhm.
is. And so having that moment to express what that is in the midnight hour and that blues, that feel, I thought it was such a lovely thing to do. I mean, I was
Yeah,
going on that one.
yeah, no, it's really good, really it's really
Thank
impressive.
you, man. Thank you so much.
Abstracts I'm always curious because abstract stuff is so subjective, right? And
Yeah, it is.
it either hits you or it doesn't, and
Mhm.
it's not necessarily any fault on the filmmaker or the viewer if they don't
I
if they
totally agree.
don't if it doesn't connect, but using, I guess, what I saw in that
But
in
even
that
in that,
project.
I'm sorry. I didn't wanna cut you off, but even in that is unification, because the fact that you still feel something, and that's all
Uh-huh.
I needed to do. Even if you
Yeah,
felt that you did, that's how I know it's still a good idea, because there's unification and disagreement, because no matter if you like it or not, we're still looking at the same thing.
right, right. Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I f I felt like you did a really good job at capturing, I guess, modes of this person's experience, like, and you were able to give each I don't know what you called them, each scenario or each, chapter a distinct look and feel, and so it
From my early
really What's that?
I say it was some of my earliest work, so
Yeah. No, no, it's very confident, it's
thank
very,
you.
like I felt like, this is a person who knows what they're doing, knows how they want to do it, and is offering me this, like, opportunity to kind of figure it out, and I think that's what some audiences, like we were saying before, who don't respond well to ambiguity or, whatever. And then there are some that are really, like, excited for the opportunity to have to figure something out, to receive information, to receive clues as to what this might be, and then to kind of put it together. So I just think, I guess what I'm saying is I'm that person, but I'm the person who wants to figure it out, who
Yeah.
appreciates the fragmentation and kind of taking it and putting it together myself. But it doesn't always work, like,
Mhm.
for people try to do that, and I think, again, it's subjective and it may not have worked for me, but it works for someone else. But in this case, this one, worked for me, and
Thank
I
you.
thought it was very, very well done, very confidently
Thank you so much,
handled,
Frank. That
and
means a lot.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm kinda shocked that you're so young and that you've only been doing this, what, since 2019, right?
2020, yeah.
And it already feels like you've done you know, 20 years or something. Like that's the kind of
Thank you,
that's
man.
the level where you're at. Yeah. I'm curious about being a filmmaker in Atlanta because I've been to Atlanta, but you know, working there. Tell me about what it's like being in a kind of it's an up and coming hub, like a
Yeah.
mini hub in America. But
Yeah,
what's
it's
it
such
like?
a mini hub. I guess it just depends on viewpoint. I mean, it's so many production companies here. It's just so many opportunities. I say with that, it's that's why I think I'm so excited for this opportunity. Being a native from Atlanta, coming out with this new feature, this new development in this feature film about the drumline and HBCUs, and actually talking about how the interprogram works. It's like I'm about truly about to be the voice of Atlanta. I don't really think that we have a lot of Southern storytelling when it comes to cinema like that. You know, of course, you have like ATL, Atlanta, Stump the Yard and stuff like that. But to be a part of that is even bigger because it's talking about it's a cultural thing, and I'm so excited for what that looks like. Right now, it's a shift right now as far as in because I just graduated and I really want as much industry professional experience as possible. Just get on set, just being a PA, whatever and
Mm.
taking that infrastructure and applying it to our pipeline model in a way that serves us with the agility, with the financial, with the what do you call it, with the idea. We have our four stages: is idea validation, progressive development, and agility and collaboration. And so applying that based off what I know within the industry, yeah. So right now it's just like there's a lot of indie things going on, which is
Mm.
exciting. It's
Mm.
exciting. Georgia had over 400 uh, production productions last year within like standard industry. Now it's been cut down to 200 this year. A lot of things are moving.
Is that like tax breaks and things
Yeah, I believe
leaving?
so. Yeah, 'cause Marvel was here, and now they moved to UK. So a lot of things are starting to it's a
Mm.
shift. Things are always exist in cycles. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm just catching, like, the back end of it because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm trying to get in." I've been talking so much to so many legendary Steadicam ops and producers, and it's great because at the end of the day, no matter if I don't get it or not, I'm still building those connections because in the meantime, we do plan on making our own, MVP or proof of concept and shopping that around. So excited for that. And so constantly keeping these people in to date and, having small screenings and all this other stuff and also documenting just my process within the middle ground. It's all exciting in Atlanta. So, yeah, just being a filmmaker and still just once again, these human things, just trying to find a job and just truly just experiencing what this is. I'm all interested in I got my degree thus far as within interdisciplinary studies in media entertainment and leadership development. And so that's why I like so many frameworks, and I use different frameworks and I can be a learning facilitator within different companies. In the meantime, I'm just using, once again, transferable skills and taking them to these mediums and still just making films in the meantime. So
Yeah.
that's what it's like so far, like now for me, but that ain't stopping nothing because I know things are always and constantly changing and coming. So I'm just aiming to be at the forefront, being adaptable being shapeless, being flexible. That's all.
Yeah.
So it's so much going on. So much.
Yeah.
So many different parties and organizations, and it's just so much. You gotta come back down, man, so I can introduce you to some people.
Yeah, for sure. It does seem like what you've described too, that even though it had the Marvel influx, you know, and it
Yeah.
had that moment, now it's not. But as you're saying, like the smaller indie people are still around and that sphere is still thriving, right?
Heck
That's
yeah.
great.
It's thriving. And to be a part of that soon is just I'm so excited for that. I can't
Yeah.
wait. Yeah. We need more voices.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like from the South, you know, like or from anywhere that's not, you know, kind of corporatized
Yeah.
content, you know,
Oh
that
yeah.
makes it through the Hollywood system. Like the regional filmmaking is and seems like that might kind of get cultivated a lot more these days. Seems like there's a bit of shift between big studio mega productions and the more like independent voices, the more like unique voices that are breaking through. Like I guess like Weapons, that's a movie
Yeah, it's
that
great.
somehow that should have been just this little indie that just kind of existed over here, but it kind of blew up.
It did. And yeah, I totally agree. I mean, now you don't need all these big budgets to shoot no good movie.
Right.
If
Right.
you market yourself well and you know how to reach to your audience, you get into those algorithms and those SEOs, man, you in there.
Yeah.
You in
Right.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. It's a different world we live in now. And that's why it's so important to keep our accountability system, because that's another thing. Like people are shooting films, but there aren't a lot of indie production companies.
Mm,
And that's what we said, that's where we can niche the gap. It's because if we can just get everybody under one umbrella, we can
mm,
revolutionize this.
mm.
Take it because you can take it by storm because a lot of people they just want to be directors and all that. They don't want to have no production company for real. And plus, it takes a lot. I know it does.
Yeah.
It just regardless, it's hard. It's challenging to be consistent. Point blank,
Yeah.
it's challenging. It is.
Yeah. It's a hard business to be in, and it's a constant challenge, especially for people who are by necessity have to do it as a secondary thing. Like
Yeah.
not everyone has the privilege of being a full-time filmmaker.
Right, absolutely. Yeah,
So the pressure is doubled now because now you have to find that time after work or on weekends or whenever
mhm,
you can to do a job that should require 7 days a week or 5 days a week, but
right.
all of your and it's how do you deal with that? How do you find do you structure your week like on
Mhm.
this day I'm gonna work at this time of the day and I'm gonna do these things? Like, are you regimented like that?
Yeah, so pretty much, my goal and I am human, but I always tell myself that not always follow your move and follow the plan,
Mm,
especially if you have a structure. My stuff is written out as far as in a granular time scale sheet each week, and it's consistent. So
mm,
Monday, Friday, or Monday through Sunday, it's either deep work, research, frameworks, developments. Like everything is set up in frameworks for me, like
mm,
everything. I use a lot of first principle thinking framework, cut off all the fluff, ask what's necessary. Why do we need these things? I use a lot of different frameworks especially for filmmaking. I think they're necessary. They really are. And so I think it allows for me to use a lot of elite thinking skills, critical skills, and a lot of analysis in that and holding myself accountable. Cause like at the end of the day, like we all need each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't have done this at the end of the day without Ethan or the other people, with the team to be team driven. Like it's really important to have teams and it's really important to specialize in what you really want to do. People don't hire generalists, they hire specialists.
yeah,
And with that, we all literally was like, okay, like we literally sat the team down. It was like, all right, y'all, there's all seven of us.
yeah,
We already got the director in this. Who gonna do this? We need a gaffer. We need this. I mean, Ethan, he went to school he stopped what he was doing and went to school to GFA to understand lighting so he could light our films better. Yeah. Like when I was talking about like the selflessness of it all, the letting
yeah,
go and just saying, this is what we gonna do in order because I feel like we have something special.
mhm,
That's what it boils down to.
yeah. Kinda goes back to what you're saying about ego, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, everyone wants to be a director, everyone wants to feel like it's their thing when and so they feel like it's a demotion or it's an
Yeah.
or something to just be the DP or the AC or something, but
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, you can. But Bill Gates and Steve Jobs wasn't building Apple and Microsoft in the same team. If you gonna do that, then get your team. But you can't come in here and infiltrate just so you can just get yours, and then that's not altruism. You just doing it just for you. You know what I'm saying? And like I used to have very hard conversations with friends, and because of that, like like not to be cruel, but thus far as in the boundaries and what that looks like,
Mhm.
dude, create your stuff. I'm all for it. But you can't just come here and just half-ass because, this ain't what you really want, and you just wanna do it because you just wanna do it. I've gotten rid of a lot of people like this.
Yeah, yeah, and people need to realize too, like, the more if the goal is you wanna be the person at the top, it's your project and you wanna be in charge and you have this story tell, and you wanna be this alpha filmmaker, that you need to know everybody's job under you anyways. You need to be able to communicate with them and know what they can and can't do, and whether or not they can meet your expectations or not. So it's like, so sure, you're not the director of this film. You're only the gaffer. But next time, and when it is your film, and now you have your own gaffer, now you can talk to them. Now you can relate. Now you can understand them, and you're gonna be a better filmmaker. So again, it's an investment, long term, not short term reward, and you just gotta think in those terms.
Man, I tell you, our reality is based off our own understanding. You cannot be willing to see something that you're not willing to accept.
Mm,
Many people out here that are so stuck within their own biases, that
mm,
cognitive biases, is because they're constantly because our brains, once again, it talks about that dissonance that we seek, especially like, guilt, shame. Those emotions are a psychological confrontation that a lot of people aren't ready to handle. So therefore, they rewrite the story. And so therefore, it's always going to be somebody else's fault. It's always going to be what somebody else did. It's easy to do that. It's easy to do that because whatever begins in anger always ends in shame. And it's just like over here, man. I'm all love. Like this is so much bigger than me.
yeah,
Like this is so much bigger than me, and that's why I started the company because the company represents that this is an entity outside of itself. This exists because of this. So therefore, if that's the case, then why am I putting what I think, what I may think, in what I know? Like that's just ego is a state of needing, always needing to prove something, needing to do that. At this point, I don't seek control. I just want peace. And peace can't not be through force. It can only be through understanding. And from that, you have to surrender. I've done a lot of surrendering. A lot of people just don't know how to surrender.
yeah. No,
They
that's
just
that's
they don't. And so just using that model, that consistent model, it has truly helped me to the utmost accountability, not just as a filmmaker, but as a human being, because I'm constantly questioning my own biases. Now, it does come with some burden of intellect because whatever, within your increasing of consciousness, there is no more sensitivity of pleasure and pain. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna experience both. And so I do experience both. And that doesn't stop me from not trying to feel things. It allows for me to feel things for what they are and accept for what it is. Therefore, I have no frustration for what should be.
mm,
Yeah. It's a lot of letting go.
you're no, this is fantastic. I mean, the stuff that you're saying, as you're saying it, it applies to your work, but also your life, and like
Yes.
those two things don't they can follow that same kind of
Yes.
core
Yeah.
philosophy and succeed. And I imagine you as you go through this and find collaborators, and you're gonna attract the people who feel that way,
And
You're gonna or at least the ones that do feel that way are they gonna be the ones that stick, and the ones that don't are gonna go their way, but by the
absolutely.
end of it, you're gonna have this
Absolutely.
really great
I totally
community.
agree because regardless of our belief system, everyone around us is a reaffirmation of our belief system.
Mm,
And
mm,
so what I mean by that is the things that you dislike are still an affirmation of your belief system because that's why they're
Right.
around. And these things are constantly keep happening is because they're there. And so just understanding that's, is you do so much deep diving and research because I read a lot, so I can make these films as accurate as possible with human development and behavioral sciences and all that stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
metacognition, electrical thinking. And so, like, that's why it makes me keep my circle the way it is because it's like I can't be this far as hypocritical in this sense if I'm, what I'm saying, making these things because it's making me more aware. It's an
Mm,
anchoring in me. And so it's like, well, no, dare put myself through that. I think that's overall what my goal is, just as a filmmaker in general, is to understand that to be conscious is to suffer, but to be
mm,
conscious of suffering is to suffer twice.
mm,
And I think that a lot of us we we don't understand that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. We don't have
mm.
to suffer. And using this medium to talk about what that looks like within everyday lives, yeah, this is gonna be a
Yeah.
journey. I got a good film coming out next, hopefully in the next couple, at least next month or so. It's another micro short. It's called The Things We Bury, and it feels like it's about a couple that is going through some hardships, and we realize that it's something far more darker and sinister at the end.
Mm, mm.
Once it's done, I can make sure I can send you a private link if you can't come to the screening so you can at least view it, man. Or, invite me out here to talk to you and stuff like that out here, so I appreciate you.
Oh, no, man, the pleasure was mine. I would love to check that out. I
Heck
really
yeah.
I'm gonna be paying close attention, to what you do 'cause, I have a feeling it's gonna be quite the journey.
Thank you so much, Brent. It does mean a lot.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Jay, thank you so much for your time and your energy and your spirit because this is a great conversation, and I really am excited to share this with everybody. But keep on doing it, and take care. It's great to meet
Thank
you.
you. It's such a pleasure meeting you. I know that this won't be the last.
No, no, not at all.
And then we're gonna be on higher platforms. I already know it. I already know it, man. Thank
Thanks
you.
again, Jay. Have a
Yeah.
great night.
You
We'll
too,
see you.
man. You have a great one. Peace.